All right, so this is going to be the test review. So for number one, we're just going to solve these equations. And it says solve each equation, also classify each equation as conditional, identity, or inconsistent. All right, so I put it on a separate piece of paper because I couldn't fit it on there with all the work I possibly have to do. So for this first one here, let's first start by distributing. So we're going to distribute the 3 times the x and the 3 times the 5, then the 2 times the 3x and the 2 times the negative 4. So for this first one, we're going to bring negative 5 down. Plus 3 times x is 3x, 3 times 5 is 15, equals 2 times 3x is 6x, and 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. Now from here we can combine like terms. So on the left side I see I can combine negative 5 and positive 15, which gives me 3x plus 10. And from here I like to move my variables to the left, so I'm going to go ahead and subtract 6x. So that's going to give me negative 3x plus 10 equals 6x minus 6x goes away to 0, minus 8. Let's go ahead and subtract 10 to the other side. And we get negative 3x is equal to negative 18. Divide both sides by negative 3, and we come up with x is equal to 6. And since that's one solution, that's going to be called conditional. So x equals 6 is one solution. That's why it's conditional. All right, for the second number one, let's go ahead and take a look at this one here. Again, before we start solving, we do have to simplify. So we're going to distribute 7 times x and 7 times negative 2 on the left side. On the right side, 4 times x and 4 times 1. So 7 times x is 7x. 7 times negative 2 is negative 14, equals 4 times x is 4x, and 4 times 1 is positive 4, minus 21. Again, we look to see if we can combine like terms, and we see we can combine 4 and negative 21. So on the left side, we're just going to bring down 7x minus 14. We also bring down the 4x, and then 4 minus 21 is going to be negative 17. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and move my variables to the left. So I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides. And 7x minus 4x is 3x. We bring down the minus 14 is equal to 4x minus 4x is 0. Bring down my minus 17. To isolate 3x, we're going to add 14. So we're moving the constants to the right side. So we come up with 3x is equal to negative 3. Divide both sides by 3. And when we divide by 3, we come up with x is equal to negative 1. Again, that's one solution, so that's going to be called conditional. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at number 2. So number 2 is one of those ones where it has a fraction in the denominator. And with this one here, since it's just constants, we're just going to find the LCD. So in terms of this one, let's see if we can find the LCD real quick. So the LCD is what they have in common and what's not in common. So I'm going to break down each factor, and that's kind of what you need to do. So 4 can be broken down into 2 prime factors of 2 times 2. 2 is just a single 2, and this 4 can also be written as 2 times 2. And so what we're looking for are pairs. Like as long as there's one underneath 2 of them, that's all you need. There's 3 denominators, but only 2 have to have it in common. So this first one, I see a pair of 2's right there, so that's going to be 2. Can't be in the same one, they have to be separate. So this one and this one, that's another 2. So 2 and 2 is what they have in common. What's not in common is this last 2. And right here, this is your LCD, 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8, okay? So I'm just going to put that above each one, 2 times 2 times 2, 2 times 2 times 2, 2 times 2 times 2. All right. And then we're just going to cross out what's common on the top, the numerator, and the bottom denominator. So for this first one here, hopefully you can agree that 2 times 2 is 4. So we have a 4 on the bottom, and we have a 4 on the top. And then we're going to just simply rewrite what's left on top. So on top is 2, and we have times 2x minus 3. All right. Moving on from there, the next one, we have an equal sign. And for the next one, we see we have a 2 on the bottom and a 2 on the top. And on the top, 2 times 2 is 4. And then we also have x minus 4 that we need to multiply. There's a minus sign. And then over here, we have 4 on the bottom, and 2 times 2 is 4. So we have 2 times x plus 1. And this is something familiar. We're familiar with solving. We just did this on the top. So first, we're going to distribute the 2 right here. We're going to distribute the 4 on the other side of the equal sign, and then the negative 2 on this side. So 2 times 2x is 4x. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. 4 times x is 4x. 4 times negative 4 is negative 16. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. On the left side, we see we have no common terms that we can combine. But on the right side, we have 4x minus 2x, which is 2x. We have negative 16 minus 2, which is negative 18. All right, I'm going to go ahead and move my variables to the left. That's going to give me 4x minus 2x is 2x. Bring down my minus 6 equals 2x minus 2x is 0. Bring down my negative 18. Let's go ahead and isolate the 2x by adding 6 to the other side. So we're moving our constants to the right. So 2x is equal to negative 12. Last, we divide both sides by 2. And we come up with x is equal to negative 6. This is one solution. So again, this is conditional. All right, let's take a look at number 3 now. All right, number 3 is a little bit different. We are going to find the LCD. And just an FYI, as you can see, I've already factored this. This was actually x squared minus 9. So I factored that to x plus 3 and x minus 3. All right, so let's go ahead and keep going and taking a look at this. All right, so what do they have in common? Well, the first one has an x minus 3. The second one has x plus 3. And the third one has actually both of them, x plus 3 and x minus 3. So when I'm looking for what they have in common, I see they both have an x plus 3 right here. So that's one thing in common. The second thing in common is x minus 3. So that's what they have in common. Okay, so they actually have both those in common. Now, another thing you might have seen was the excluded value. So EV means the excluded value. So pretty much what that means is what makes the denominator 0. So if I look right here, what number, actually let's go LCD. What number plus 3 is 0? And hopefully you said negative 3 plus 3 is 0. So that is an excluded value. Negative 3 plus 3 makes that 0 in the denominator. The other part, what number minus 3 is 0? Well, hopefully you said that was 3, because 3 minus 3 is 0. Another way to think about it is you can take each factor of the LCD, you can set it equal to 0, and you can solve it, right? So x plus 3 equals 0. I'm subtracting 3 from both sides. X equals negative 3. So my excluded value is negative 3. The other one, x minus 3 is equal to 0. We add 3 to both sides. X equals positive 3, and that value also makes the denominator 0. Okay, so those are two ways to do it. I think both ways are going to be easy. All right, now we're going to take the LCD and we're going to place it above each fraction. So x plus 3 times x minus 3 above the first one, x plus 3 times x minus 3 above the second one, and x plus 3 times x minus 3 above the last one. All right, from here, again, just like the previous one, we are going to cancel out like factors on the top numerator, bottom denominator. So for this first one, I see we have x minus 3 in common, so I'm going to cross that out. And then I have 2 times x plus 3 left on the top. Notice I am multiplying it. Minus, all right here, we have x plus 3 on the top and the bottom. And then we have 4 times x minus 3. So 4 times x minus 3. And then the last one, notice we have everything in common. So x plus 3, x minus 3, x plus 3, x minus 3. So all it's going to set equal to is 8. Now from here, we're going to go ahead and solve this. So first we start by distributing 2 times x, 2 times 3, negative 4 times x, negative 4 times negative 3. So 2x plus 6, negative 4 times x is negative 4x, negative 4 times negative 3 is positive 12. Just like before, we combine like terms. I have 2x minus 4x, that's going to be negative 2x. 6 plus 12 is 18, and that's equal to 8. Let's go ahead and move my constant over to the right side since my variable is already on the left. So negative 2x is equal to negative 10. To isolate x, we divide both sides by negative 2. And x is equal to positive 5. Again, that's one solution, so that's going to be conditional. All right, let's move on to the next problems. This is going to be starting at number 14. And again, the same directions apply. Solve each equation, classify it as conditional, identity, or inconsistent. Okay, so for number 14, again, we have an LCD here. And I'm looking at the terms. I see I have a 4, which can be broken down into the prime factors of 2 times 2. I have a 2x, which can be 2 times x, and then I have a single x, okay? So once again, I'm looking for what they have in common in at least 2 denominators. So for and they can't be in the same denominator. So for the first one, I can see I have 2's that are in common there. I have x in common here. And then what's not in common is this 2, so we also have to put so what's in common and what's not in common. All right, since we have a variable in the denominator, that's when we have to really do our excluded values. So excluded values. So there's no x here but x. So what would make this denominator 0? 2 times what number is 0? And hopefully you said that is 0. We can look right here again. X, what number makes this 0? What obviously, or hopefully you see that it's 0. So my only excluded value is 0. So pretty much what that means is if you solve an equation, one of these rationals, and then your answer is 0, that's excluded, so that's can't be a part of the solution set. All right, let's go and put our LCD above each one. So 2 times x times 2, 2 times x times 2, 2 times x times 2. All right, now we're going to cross out what's common in the top and the bottom. So on the bottom we have 4, and we have 2 times 2, which is 4. And that right there is going to give us 9 times x, which is 9x. On the second one, we have 2x, and we have 2x, so negative 1 times 2 is negative 2, equals. And on the last one, we have x, cross that out, and cross out this x, so we have 2 times 2 times 4, which is 16. And then from here, we're going to solve it. So my variable's already on the left, so I'm going to move my constant to the right by adding the 2. So we get 9x is equal to 18. Divide both sides by 9. X equals 2. Again, that's one solution, so it is conditional. All right, on to the next one. And for this one here, not a rational, so we're just going to solve it. First, we're going to distribute. So we're going to distribute the negative 2 times the 1 and the negative 2 times the negative x. 3 times the 2x, and 3 times the 1. So first on the left side, we bring down the 4x. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Negative 2 times negative x is positive 2x. 3 times 2x is 6x. 3 times 1 is 3. Now we're going to combine our like terms. I have 4x plus 2x, which is 6x. Bring down my minus 2. And 6x, and we have 3 minus 5 is also negative 2. And at this point, hopefully you can see that they are similar. But if not, let's continue. So I'm going to go ahead and bring my constant to the right by adding it. So I get 6x equals 6x. And at this point here, you can bring 6x over and cancel it out, but I can see that they're the exact same thing. One more thing you can do, if you really wanted to subtract 6x, you could do this. But like I said, you could probably see this a lot earlier. So when we see 0 equals 0, there's no variables remaining. So the statement is either true or false. In this case, 0 equals 0 is true. So your answer here is going to be all real numbers. And in terms of what type, the classification, well, conditional means one solution. If it's all real numbers, that's going to be the identity. So really, I'm looking for all real numbers and identity. All right, let's take a look at number 8. Again, we have one of these rationals, But if you take a look in the denominator, there is no variable. Sorry, let's put this over one. Since there's no variable, I don't really have to worry about excluded values because that means it's going to be all real numbers. But let's go ahead and find our LCD and solve this. So for my LCD, the first fraction has 4, which can be broken down to 2 times 2. The second fraction just has a 3, and that's already a prime number. We don't have to worry about 1. 5 is also a prime number. 20 can be broken down to 4 times 5, and 4 times 5 can be broken down to 2 times 2 times 5. Okay, and you can verify it. 2 times 2 is 4. This is a 3. We don't need the 1. 5. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 5 is 20. All right, now we're looking for what they have in common. And once again, it has to be only in 2 of them. So I see we have a 2 in common. I see we have another 2 in common. We have a 5 in common. And that's everything we have in common there. And what's not in common is this 3 right here. And there's our LCD. So what's in common, what's not in common. And just like before, we're going to put this above each one. So 2 times 2 times 5 times 3. And I'm putting that above each fraction. All right, for the first one, I can see this one has 4. And on the top, 2 times 2 is 4. The bottom of the second one, we just have the 3. And this one has nothing. This one, we have the 5. And 20 is 2 times 2 times 5, so we can get rid of that, and the 20. All right, so let's rewrite this, see what we have left. So right here, we have 5 times 3 is 15. 15 times 3 is 45, so this one's going to be 45x. This one right here, we have 2 times 2 is 4, times 5 is 20x, so negative 20x. And then this one had nothing, so 20 times 3 is 60. Do be careful of the signs like minus, plus, be careful of those. This one, 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 times 4 is 48. So 48x. And then here we have negative 3 times 3 is negative 9. Okay. And let's go ahead and work this out. So we have 45x minus 20x, which is going to be 25x, plus 60 equals 48x minus 9. So like I do, I move my variables to the left. So I'm going to subtract 48x from both sides. That's going to be negative 23x plus 60 equals to negative 9. Let's go ahead and subtract my constant to the other side. So we're subtracting 60. So negative 23x is equal to negative 69. Divide both sides by negative 23. And x is equal to, that looks like going to be positive 3. This is one solution, so that is, sorry about that, I messed up. So really quickly, I subtracted 48x, and I got negative 23x, brought down to plus 60, brought down to minus 9. Subtracted 60 from both sides, 60 cancels, so I have negative 23x. Negative 9 minus 60 is negative 69. Divided both sides by negative 23, x equals 3. That is one solution, so this is conditional. All right, and the last one for this solving is going to be this number 11 right here. So here, all we have to do is just distribute and simplify, it looks like it. So we're going to distribute this negative sign across these two, and that's pretty much all we have to do before we start solving. So we bring down the 3x plus 1. Negative 1 times x is negative x. Negative 1 times negative 5 is positive 5. So as you can see, the negative sign just flipped the signs. And we bring down the 2x minus 4. I see I can combine terms like terms over here. 3x minus x is 2x. 1 plus 5 is 6. Let's go ahead and move my variables to the left here. So let's subtract 2x from both sides. And at this point here, we see that the 2x minus 2x is gone. So we have 6 equals 2x minus 2x is gone, negative 4. And here we have no variables, and we have a statement that is actually false, right? 6 does not equal negative 4. So when that's a not true statement and your variables are gone, that's going to be a no solution. And in terms of classification, right? So the identity was when it was true and there was all real numbers. Conditional was when you had one solution. So no solution is going to be inconsistent. last thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look at these word problems. So for the first word problem, it says when 80% of a number is added, when 80% of a number is added to the number, the result is 196. What is the number? Okay, so let's go and take a look here. So 80%, we're going to make that 0.80 of a number. A number is going to be x, because we don't really know what that number is added to the number. So added to the number again is x. The result is 196. So there's the setup of my equation. So the first equation, 0.80x plus x equals 196. And we're going to go ahead and take that over here and see if we can solve it. So this is my equation. And I'm just going to take it over here and solve it. So let's see. 0.80x plus x equals 196. These are like terms. So 0.8 plus x is going to be 1.8x equals 196. To solve this, we're going to divide both sides by 1.8. And when we divide by 1.8, let's see what that gives us. So x equals, let me do 196 divided by 1.8. And that gives me yeah, I came up with a decimal. I came up with 108.89. Let me just verify that I did do this correctly, just to make sure I am good. So 80% of a number, 0.8x, is added to the number plus x. The result is 196. So 0.8 plus that is 1.8. Let me make sure I typed that in right. 196 divided by 1.8 is, yep, that looks good. All right, let's take a look at the next one. Number 13. So this one says when 5 times a number is decreased by, so 5 times a number, so 5 times a number again is x, so you don't know what that is. When 5 times a number is decreased by, decrease means to subtract 9, the result is 11. So our equation is 5x minus, oh, I put a b, that should be a 9, sorry about that. Minus 9 equal, oh gosh, put a 5 now. 5x minus 9 equals 11. That is my equation that we're looking for. All right, from here, we're going to go ahead and solve that. So I'll just do it in green. So 5x minus 9 equals 11. First thing we should do to solve this is we're going to add 9 to both sides. So 5x is equal to 20. Divide both sides by 5. And x is equal to 4. All right, let's take a look at the next one, number 14. So 10% of what number is 22? Okay, so 10% of what number is 22? So 10% is 0.10 of what number x is 22. So my equation is 0.10x equals to 22. And we're going to go ahead and solve this right here. So 0.10x equals 22. Divide both sides by 0.10. X equals, so let's figure this out. So 22 divided by 0.1 is 220. All right, there's my work. There's my answer. All right, let's move on to the next one, number 15. It says f of x equals 9x plus 5, g of x equals 11x minus 2. And this is where you come up with your equation. The outputs of f of x exceed those of g of x by 5. So the output of f of x equals, or exceeds those of g of x by 5. So pretty much it's plus 5 to g of x. So g of x plus 5. All right, and now we're going to actually substitute, because it's not my equation, I have to substitute. So f of x was 9x plus 5. And g of x was 11x minus 2. And there's my equation. All right, and let's go ahead and solve this. So 9x plus 5 equals 11x minus 2 plus 5. I see I have like terms of negative 2 and positive 5. Negative 2 plus 5 is positive 3. We're going to move our variables to the left. So 9x minus 11x is negative 2x plus 5 is equal to positive 3. Let's go ahead and subtract 5 to both sides. So negative 2x equals 3 minus 5 is negative 2. Last, we divide both sides by negative 2. And x equals 1. All right. So once again, make sure you notice I'm getting the equation and then I'm getting the solution. All right. Last question for the review is number 16. When a number is decreased, so that number in this case is going to be a number, x, is decreased minus by 30%, and be careful here, 30% of itself. If the number is x, then 30% of itself is also 0.3x. The result is 35. Okay, so my equation here, x minus 0.30x equals 35. That is my equation. Now I'm just going to take that over here and solve it. All right, so this is pretty much a 1x, right? So 1 minus 0.3 is 0.70. And then to solve for x, we just divide both sides by 0.7. And I'm going to put this in the calculator. And I came up with x is equal to 50. All right, and that concludes the review.